We are back home. I'm in the kitchen this time. And it's time to talk about day 12. Day before yesterday. Long day of travel. Trying to remember what happened. Okay, so this day was the banger day. We had Argentina play, we had Algeria, Jordan, we had France, Iraq, and Norway, Spain. So let's start with the big one, Argentina. First game of the day. Messi steps up in the 5th minute to miss a pen wide right. With the Closa goal record on the line, and he steps up and he misses the pen. Looking back at it, it was a clear pen. That was the right decision to give them a pen, and it was just unlucky that he missed it. I think it was the stutter. Real ones don't stutter. The stutter makes you miss. But he puts that behind him. He keeps chugging along, and he gets his goal in the 33rd minute. Very good goal. Nice cutback. Good dummy. I forget who dummied it. Messi, tidy finish into the bottom corner. Keeper's not saving that. No matter, it's very close to him, but he's not getting there. I think it's almost impossible for a keeper to just dive that quickly, and the only keeper who can really get that leg save like that is a prime David De Gea. But yeah, no, that's not being saved. Very quality finish. And then the rest of the game was kind of a bore. Argentina just dominated. Austria had a couple of chances. They didn't really take it. And then Messi scores again in the last minute. And it's a bit of a scrappy goal, that one. But takes his goal tally to 18. He's happy. Argentina are happy. 2 goals, 3 points. This Argentina team I've never seen a group of people who meat ride a player so hard. The glazing that they do. None of them want to score. They only want Messi to score. I swear. They had multiple chances in which Martinez in the first half could have scored, or other players could have stepped up. And it was like they didn't want to shoot. They just didn't. The chance would go away because they didn't shoot. They didn't want to score. They want Messi to score. They want to get the ball to Messi. They were looking for him in that final third. They squandered some chances. Even after he scored, Julian Alvarez did shoot at the end there. But he was one-on-one with the keeper. And, you're on the bench. You know this is your opportunity to show that you should be starting. You put in the hard work, you get there one-on-one, you got to convert it. Lautaro Martinez does not score in the World Cup, so you need to shoot, prove that you are a better choice. And instead he misses it. And it was passed to him by Messi. And Messi gets an eventual rebound. They are dogs. They will hunt the ball down. They are passionate. Their fans will go anywhere for these games. They'll do anything for Lionel Messi, except score the ball. I don't get it. I don't get it. How? But anyways, very quality game. And on to the next one. That bleeds into our third game of the day, France-Iraq. And this game was taking place in Philly, and Philly decided to have a summer thunderstorm in the middle of the game. First half, Mbappe saw what Messi was doing and scored a tidy goal. Cuts in on his left foot, his weaker foot, and he does that curling shot that he do on his right foot on the other end on the right wing. And you're thinking, man, this guy really turns up for the World Cup because that's all he does. Immaculate play. Immaculate finish. All around. Elise gets that assist. Then it starts to rain. Somewhere after the hydration break. It goes from really sunny and hot out to rain. And then it really starts pouring. So then they delay the game. And I won't have much to say on the first half of Norway Senegal because I chose to watch the second half of this game. But even though FIFA delayed the other game, France started at 5, Norway started at 8. That whole hour was a delay. And this is how you know these hydration breaks are just for ads, because they chose not to have a hydration break after the delay. But they say that all of them have to be in there regardless of the weather because you need it to be consistent. Because there's a lot of tactical changes that happen during these hydration breaks. It's more like quarters of basketball. Whoever said that is correct. But they decide not to go with one in the second half. So it's the only half you'll probably ever see unless there's another thunderstorm delay, which there's only 2 minutes of added time. And they just, under 3 minutes added time, and they just decided, yeah, no, we're not going to have one. We don't need one. Which annoys me because it's like, you very clearly, and I understand part of the reasons, like, they want to get out of there as quickly as possible. But, like, man, that was annoying to me because it's like, you can't even hide the fact that you're doing this for ads. And I could tell as well because, like, Fox ran out of ads to play. And, yeah, the second half, France took a little bit more control. I was gonna say credit to Iraq for playing well, but they did give up a lot of playing decently well. But France were always in control, and they kept giving up clumsy mistakes like they did against Norway. And lucky for them, they're still in it. Now, in order to truly be in it, you're gonna want to score a lot more goals, but they're not out of it. They're playing a Senegal team who we'll get to have been kind of poor. And they have the opportunity to go and shock the Senegalese team and do what they need to do. It's just up to them. It really is. Get their heads up, play better. But Mbappe played well. Dembele actually scored his first goal, assisted Mbappe's second goal. Just, this France team is, you can go down the list of that attack. You can look at the bench. It's just all stars, and they're deciding to shine. This is a World Cup of stars, I will say, and it was a great watch. So yeah, there's that. And Norway Senegal. That was the game to decide who's finishing second and who's finishing third. Now, before the World Cup, I thought, oh, maybe Senegal. They are the pot 2 team as well. But then as we got closer, I was like, Norway, there's something about Erling Haaland and this Norwegian team and their fans. They wanted a little bit more. And the score was 3-2, but it was not a close game. You know, this Norway team played well. You had the fans rowing in the stands after the game because they qualified for the knockout round. They don't really care about this next game against France, but if they win it, they top the group. 2 goals from Erling Haaland again, absolute machine. Ismail Sarr is the only one who I think he can really hold his head up. He took both of his chances very well. But this Senegalese team, they did not create well enough. They were ran off of the ball. They seemed lackluster the entire time I was watching. And it was just not, they're certainly dejected. You would think they'd come into this World Cup a point to prove. You know, you're playing against France, who are your colonizers. You're playing against Norway, it's their first World Cup. You just lost AFCON according to the CAF. You know, you got to prove that you're the true AFCON winners. And they're not going out there and doing that. And luckily, they have a lifeline of they couldn't have been eliminated. And they weren't. They still have the opportunity to go in and score and win, you know, against Iraq. If you run up the score a little bit, they have a -3 goal difference, but if they level it out to 0, they could qualify. I mean, there are already, I'm recording this after, so there's a little bit of a spoiler, but there are already 2 teams who left today on 3 points after 3 matches played. And if you just better their goal difference, you're already ahead of them, and that's a good leg up. They are down, but they're not out. But me looking ahead to it, as I have been with all the previous matches, they're probably out. You know, they are not looking as good, and it's going to be tough to get through on 3 points. Not impossible, very doable, but it's not looking the best for them. Last game of the day, Jordan, Algeria. And this was Jordan's last game. Well, not Jordan's last game. Jordan's eliminated now due to earlier results. They cannot get out of the group. And that's very sad for them. They are going to finish last. But they did put up a fight, you know. Algeria, I was going to say, this video would have been very similar towards the end with me talking about Senegal. They looked kind of lackluster for most of it. They conceded kind of early on. After they conceded as well, certainly, Jordan had their tails up. It was a good goal, well-taken goal. But they didn't capitalize on the momentum that they had going into the half. And coming out of it, they kind of just sat back for just the one goal. And they conceded, and their game plan didn't change. In fact, the momentum just swung the way of Algeria. They felt dejected. Instead of staying in there and, going out there and giving more, they just ended up falling flat and losing to a later Algeria winner. And credit to Algeria, keeping their heads up, playing well after the half, not after conceding, but after the half. And it'll be really interesting because they go into their Austria game, and they're the last game of the round, so they would very well know exactly what they need to get into that next round. Whether it be a win by however many goals, whether it be a draw, that game could provide some interesting stuff. So before we end, I just want to talk about the next round for these two groups and what I think will happen. France versus Norway, I think, will be a banger. I think it'll be like 3-2. I don't think either team are necessarily going to go for it, but I think both of them also are. I think France knows the difference between being a first place group and being a second place group, and Norway knows this as well, that it's gettable. But, it won't be easy, and it will be a fun slugfest, I think. Either that or a boring 0-0. Either way, I hope it's more fun than it is boring, but I think it will be a spectacle to watch, especially because Mbappe and Holland are going to want to play, especially since Messi wants to play. That's a big golden boot race that's like heating up here. 5 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals. They're going to want to play. They're going to want to score. They're going to want to get their goals and enjoy themselves and prepare for playing tougher competition in the knockout round. And Senegal, they're going to be kind of scrappy. Their lives are on the line here. And so I expect that from them. I expect them to, take that and run with that and actually perform. I don't expect a 3-0 win. Because Iraq still can go. I actually think it's going to be 1-0 either way or 2-0 with a last-minute goal, throwing everybody up. We could very well see Iraq get that win. But I don't know if either of these teams are going to go through, and I think this is just going to be a fight for it anyways. Argentina, they're through. More Messi goals, I guess. Nobody else seems to want to score. Get through. They're top of the group. Rest some players, put some bench players in, get some confidence up from the team, and really enjoy themselves in that last game. Jordan, they're eliminated. Get your starters out there, get them to enjoy, make more records for their country. That's all I see happening in that game. And Algeria and Austria can be a snooze fest because both of them might know that a draw is enough. Both of them might think. And it probably will be at that point. And if it's not, then it'll be a very cagey affair. But I think it might just be a draw. Neither team needs to win necessarily. So yeah, I'm going to be a little bit late with the uploads for the next couple of days. Finishing off round 2 and starting round 3, but just know it's because I'm at World Cup games, and I was at the Ghana-England one. I definitely want to talk about that. I'm going to try my best. It might just take a lot of time. I am on the move very frequently. Starting next week though, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I can finish all of those and get to talking about the knockout stage while it's happening and really enjoy it. So thank you all for watching, and like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.